Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. I'm really sorry I can't see you. I see quite a lot of people. I'm very happy you decided to spend the evening with me. My name is Magda, and I am from Poland. I think you already know that. Actually, I live like 50 kilometers from Ostrava, so I'm kind of your really close neighbor, I guess, to those who live, somewhere around here. A few words about me before I start. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher trainer. I run my own private language school, but I'm also an active teacher because I think that being a teacher trainer, you should know what it's like. So I still teach students. I think I love it simply, and probably that's why it just gives me some kind of good energy. I mostly work with teenagers and adult students. If you could just write a few words, like what kind of students do you teach, and like what's your experience? I've been teaching for 27 years now, I think. Quite a lot. Teenagers mostly, I see. Okay, great. Secondary. Okay. Teens in special school. Oh my. That's a challenge. Okay. So mostly teenagers, secondary, fantastic. I will share some of my ideas today. They are also applicable to primary school. If you're an open-minded person, I think you will use something from what I have to offer today. Okay, so I think we can start. Pilsen, oh my. Okay, today the session about surprise. As you can see, I coined a new word, surprisology, engineering the unexpected in the classroom. I will share some of my ideas today, and I will show you how to do it using a really nice course book. So, do we have any fans of chemistry here? Well, definitely not me, but no. Okay, we have some fun. So guys, I have great news for you. A new element has been discovered, the element of surprise, as you can see. Okay, it's the spelling is the element of surprise. But what is this surprise? Do you know? I think everybody knows. It's just, like we don't have to explain the word surprise, but actually there is something to it, something more to it. And I would like you now to take a piece of paper, because I have a kind of a questionnaire. I want to really check what you know about surprise. Take a piece of paper and take a pen or pencil. Don't write in the chat. Do it on the paper, okay? It's important, trust me. I have 4 questions, and I want you to write the answers on your pieces of paper. So the first question is, what is surprise? Is it an emotion or maybe a mental state? So A or B? Okay, I hope you're doing this. Number 2, where do you feel surprise in your body? Stomach, chest, or face? So A, B, or C? Okay, nobody's writing in the chat box, so I guess you're doing the task. I hope. Question number 3. How do you look when you are surprised? Bulging eyes, gaping mouth, maybe both, or maybe none of these? And the last question is, how often do you feel surprised? Rarely, occasionally, often, every day. So A, B, C, or D. Okay, and now some magic. If you take the card, the piece of paper with your answers and turn it upside down, you will see the correct answer. What is surprise? Go ahead and tell me. All right. Well, anybody? You're writing random words and letters. Actually, I was joking. There is no good answer here. But what I was hoping was that you will actually do this that I asked you to do. Unfortunately, I can't see you, but when I'm doing this session live, it was a nice trick, and it was quite quite a funny situation. I hope I managed to surprise you a bit. Just like surprise, it's still a mystery, but there is something we all know about surprise. When it happens, our brains react the same way all the time, like forever, from the prehistoric times to now. Okay, this is because surprise triggers the same prehistoric sequence in our modern brains. So first, there is this freeze phase, okay, also known as the DAR phase. This is the moment when we look a bit silly. This is because the surprise elicits a spike in our brains that in a way hijacks our cognitive resources. We are not able to think. We don't understand what's happening. It's just a little spike in our brain. But then our brain sucks in and analyzes information at an incredible speed. The brain is trying to find the answer to what has just happened. Okay, so this is called the find phase, the second one. The third one is the shift phase, is the moment when we realize what has just happened. It's just the shift from what to aha. Okay, there we know it was something unexpected, something strange, and now we simply understand what happened. And the last phase is my favorite. It's called share phase, because whether surprise is positive or negative, it is incredibly exhausting for our brains. Yes, because we have to analyze information so quickly that our brain simply, warms up and is like really, almost killing itself. So we need to relieve this burden by sharing the information. I think you will agree with me that whenever it happens, whenever something surprises us, we simply have the need to talk to people about it. Yes, we call a friend, or we just, go into a room and tell people, what has just happened, you won't believe me, and so on. That's basically what we all do. So this is basically everything I have to say about surprise. And probably we could finish now, but of course not yet. I still have a few things to say, but I hope that by doing this short task with the questions about surprise, I managed to catch your attention, and by taking you by surprise in a way, I have your full attention now. So when I was preparing this session, I knew that I was going to talk about surprise and paying attention, and I decided to talk to my fellow friends, fellow teachers, about attention, about like, is it a problem, or maybe it's not worth talking about, like it doesn't even exist, or what's all about it. Yeah. So I asked my fellow teachers two questions, like, what are the things that your students pay attention to, and what are the things that your students don't pay attention to? And now, can you guess? I had three answers for things that students pay attention to and one for not paying attention to. Maybe you can use something, kind of your experience. Yes. What do our students pay attention to? Body language. Interesting. Yeah. Something funny. Definitely. Okay. Games, of course. Intonation of voice. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Something shocking. Pictures, jokes, news, history. Wow. You're incredibly active. I love it. Unusual language. Kahoot. Oh, yes. Kahoot rules in Poland. Students love it. I don't know why. Something they don't believe. Okay, that's interesting. Quotations. Okay, so there are a lot of things that they pay attention to, but the answers that I received from my fellow teachers kind of surprised me, because the first one was like, when I get my nails done, everybody notices and pays attention to the color, to the shape, and some patterns on it and stuff like that. Next, when I change my phone case, this is something that happens to me. Yes, gee, don't change a telephone or a phone case because the lesson is over. This is the only topic they want to talk about and the only thing they will pay attention to. And the last thing was when I bring a new game. So just one of those that you mentioned. Of course, they love games and they think that it's just having some fun. But I always trust the teachers know what they are doing, and whenever it's a game, it's still educational. But let's move on to the things they don't pay attention to. Anything academic related. And it's kind of makes me feel sad when I see things like that, but it is absolutely true. Yeah, there are so many more interesting things around them. Why should they bother? Yeah, why should they just pay attention to what's going on our lesson? Once in a very interesting book by Przemysław Bąbel, is a Polish author, I found a sentence which I really love. There is no bad memory, it's just lack of attention. And I think very often we kind of worry, we get nervous at our students that they don't remember something. Yeah, we were explaining it, I don't know, a few times last week and you still don't remember. It's just lack of attention. Okay, they are not focusing on what they are doing, and this is the problem, which is obvious. Yes, because you will not remember something you don't notice, and I think this is the point here. What is even more maybe not difficult, actually I think it's a good thing, that now we are working with a certain type of students. I'm talking about secondary students. They are no longer the millennials. And what's the name of this generation right now we deal with? Do you know? Z. Yes, there is also a different name. Gen Z, of course. Okay, they are of the Gen Z, but they are also called iGen. I will show you a book in a moment. They are generation, sorry, Gen Z. It's a different group of young people. Okay, they are fast thinkers. They live online. They switch. They switch websites every 90 seconds, which is crazy. Yes, like how can they really focus? There are a lot of things which, for people my age, are quite difficult to embrace. Really, like how is it even possible to live like that? But that's how they are. But what is good? Well, the good news about them actually is in the book that I want to recommend to you. In the presentation, you have the English version. I have the Polish version here. It's iGen by Jean M. Twenge. I don't know, maybe somebody knows it. It's absolutely brilliant. And she describes step by step every point of this generation and explains and tells a lot of different stories about them. It's fascinating, really. But the good thing is about this generation is that they are more goal-oriented and they really value education, which for us as teachers, I think is great news. Yes, because now maybe it will be a bit easier for us to work with this generation, because for working with millennials for me was quite a challenge. Okay, but let's skip to the practical part. But before this, I want to show you a short video. I want to show you what happens when we really pay attention to something, when we are really focused on something we are doing. Okay, it's just 3 minutes, so let's watch it.
Most of us think we're pretty observant, but with a bit of mind control, I wanted to see if I could make these people take even the most obvious things for granted.
Excuse me, do you know how to get to Trinity Church from here?
Yeah. You see that church down there?
Yep, straight through there.
And then you keep going down.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, which way?
You see where that church is down there?
Yeah.
You stay on that, which is, I believe, Broadway. And then you walk down 2 or 3 blocks and Trinity Church is on the right-hand side. We're walking in that direction.
Okay. Excuse me, you don't know where Trinity Church is, do you?
Might be Wall Street and Broadway.
Okay. Well, we're down here somewhere, aren't we?
Yeah, you see Trinity Church.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Inside the Trinity Church. Right there. Yeah. If you keep going that way, you'll hit Broadway, then you go down a couple of blocks.
Okay.
And
Thanks very much.
That seemed almost too easy, so later on I see how far I can take it.
Excuse me, do you know where Trinity Church is?
It's in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time I switched with someone who looked a little bit like me, but where's the fun in that?
Oh, excuse me.
You know who best direct you? The other side. You see where that lady's standing?
Sure.
That's the booth. No, the lady in the gray.
the other side.
Yeah, the other side of
But
the
you
booth.
say you don't know where it is.
Exactly what street? No, but it's in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Do you know where Trinity Church is from here?
Yeah, fine. Come on, I'll take you. Or you want to walk now?
I'm gonna catch some other people. But
Sorry, guys. There's a picture. Okay,
you
listen.
think?
Once you go on Broadway,
Yes.
remember the numbers are going. I could have sworn it was another guy. Once you hit the Broadway, you're going down.
Yes.
Walk up straight
that
that
way.
way and just walk straight down. You're
Brilliant.
gonna see it. It's right. It's really brown.
That's brilliant. Thanks for your help.
All right, fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
excuse me. Do you know where Trinity Church is? Yeah. Ah, great. Where are we on here? We sort of there.
We're right here.
Right, good. Thank you.
Go on. We are Brooklyn Bridge. You want to cross over there, go down Broadway, and you'll be right there. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, mate. Do you know this area? Do you know the area? Do you know where Piccadilly Circus?
You go that way.
So through there?
Yeah, through the through Leicester Square.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on for me. Where?
If you keep going that way,
This way?
you get to Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, thank you very much.
problem. Good
Oh,
luck.
careful of the car. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Excuse me. Are you familiar with this area? No. No. Okay. All right.
What are you trying to look at?
Piccadilly Circus.
Piccadilly Circus. Coming
Yeah.
back from here. Piccadilly Circus is
Oh,
right
sorry.
here.
Hang on. Sorry.
Sorry, which?
I just saw it right here.
Okay, so is that straight over?
Definitely not that way. Piccadilly Circus is, I know, is that direction.
Over that way. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will just get back to my slides. Choose media. Okay, so what happened here? Yeah, like what was the experiment? People were asked question, and in the meantime, the people was like person swap. Yes, people were changing, and yeah, exactly. People were changing, and the person asked didn't even notice. There was only one person that noticed that something is, well, actually two. Yeah, something is wrong here. The first one, the black guy that wanted to show him the way, and the last one, the lady who was kind of the companion. She was not focused on the task. She could see and she could observe the situation around. Yes, exactly. So I wanted to show you that when we are really focused on something, it is possible for us to kind of eliminate the distractors. We simply don't notice things which are not connected with the task we are working on. And when I saw this film, this video, I thought, okay, so maybe now I shouldn't talk about myself as a teacher, but as an attention designer. Okay, so I thought, that's the point. That's what I'm going to focus on more. But is it possible? Can we design attention? Can we control our students' attention? What do you think? Can we do it on our lessons? Yes, okay. A lot of positive thinkers or a lot of experienced teacher. Okay. Yeah. Well, of course we can, and I want to prove it to you just with this slide. Okay, this is something that the advertising companies do to us. Yes, they control our attention and they make sure that we are focused on what they want us to be focused on. Okay, so I will show you now how I design my lessons with attention in mind. So, of course, I use the element of surprise. You already know that, but because, you know, I truly believe that we shouldn't do to other people what we wouldn't want to be done to us, I start with surprising myself. Okay, I have this special box, and actually I also have it here. You can see it's not fake, it's real. I have this special box, and I call it the box of randomness. And when I prepare my lessons for the following week, I usually do it on Sunday. I take this box and I have a lot of different cards here. They are some kind of vocabulary cards. They are some ideas I gathered during different conferences, webinars like today. You know, I don't have a notebook. When I attend a conference, in the past, I used to have a notebook and write everything the speakers were talking about. But then when I came back home, I just put away the notebook and it evaporated. Now I have a different system. I have a set of cards like that. Yes, when I go to a conference or watch a webinar, I have a set of cards and I write every single idea on a separate card. Yeah, so I have a lot of ideas for interesting, quick, fun activities that I can do in my classroom with my students. So this box of randomness, this is the box of ideas like that. And when I prepare my lessons, I just pick one card from this box. And what I do, I try to incorporate this idea into almost every lesson I do. I'm planning to do this week. It saves my time, definitely, because I don't have to think of, 20 super extra games, fun activities for every group. I just have one activity and I simply look at the material we are going to work on and I incorporated it into my lessons. For example, we have the explanation bingo here. We all know this is the bingo game, yes? Or not? Of course, yeah, everybody knows bingo. Okay, but this one is called the explanation bingo. Oh, one more word about this particular card. This is a set of cards, like, 50 cards, which you can download from the internet. You can print them, laminate them, and use them. The only thing which might be a problem is that they are not free, but they are also not very expensive because the creator of the cards made a system in which you decide how much you want to pay him. Okay, it's just like $1 minimum, I think. So it's really, seriously, it's just nothing. And they are fantastically made. Yes, there are a lot of, there's the description, the time, the group, the group type, the student type, explanation. There is the link. At the bottom of the slide, I will write the link here, okay? Because I think it's worth the activeclass.org. The active class, yeah, here you are. Okay, it's really nice. Please don't go there right now. Stay with me. Just copy the link and do it later, okay? So I take the card, the explanation bingo, and I just, when I prepare my lessons, I simply remember about this part that I want to use it during my lessons. So with this group, something didn't, okay. I had a lesson with reading. Yeah, this is from High Note 4, a fantastic course book, by the way. This is the reading lesson, yes, vocabulary and reading. I don't know how about your students, but my students are not very willing to read long tests. It's like, oh my goodness, do we have to? You know, it's always a problem. It seems kind of boring to them. So when I have this reading lesson, we go through the text, and there are a lot of words that I want them to remember because they are very important and they are really nice. But I don't want to do the exercise from the book. Yes, we can do it, of course, but what's the fun in that? So I simply took one of the exercises, checking the understanding of the words in the book, and I turned it into a bingo game. And I presented this to my students. I have it I called it, bingo or got it, because some students, I don't know how about your students, but my students sometimes kind of feel offended that I suggest playing bingo. It's like, oh my goodness, it's for the old people, not for us. So I don't use the word bingo, I use got it, and they don't notice. It's actually the same, it just has a different name. So the idea here is that I choose the words I want them to practice and to remember, and I put them into the bingo grid. They can see this grid on the board. Yes, I use the overhead projector and they can see it. And I read the sentences, the definitions, and they are not allowed to take any notes. They just have to look at the board and listen to me. And once they hear the 3 definitions that create a line, they have to shout bingo. Okay? Seems not working. The active class.org. You know, I will check it. I will check it after the webinar. Maybe he changed or maybe there is the spelling mistake. Okay, I will not do it now. I will check it and send the link to the organizers. Is that okay? Or if you want, I will give you my email at the end of the session and you can drop me a line and I will happily answer. Okay. So let's see how good you are at bingo. Okay, I will read some definitions for you, and once you can see that the definitions created a line, write the word bingo or got it in the chat box. So number 1 is it's your ability to see. Number 2, when you can't tell the difference between some colors. I didn't even read 3 definitions. You have to wait. Number 3, the tiny bumps on your tongue that allow you to recognize flavors. Number 4, another word for notice. Bingo. Now, yes, it was taste buds, eyesight, and perceive. Okay, so you see, it's very simple. It doesn't take a lot of time. My students, okay, now everybody is the winner. Fantastic. My students have to analyze the words in their minds, and they have to remember. Yeah, we are practicing their short-term memory. They have to remember which words I have already written the definitions of. So it's really nice, a nice activity. My students like it. Very simple. We don't have to do, it's not very demanding for us. Yeah. The active class net. Oh, thank you, Hannah. And does this link work? So maybe he changed from org or org to net. Yes. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. As you see, the bingo game is actually the task, the vocabulary task in the course book. Okay, but it's not that I don't tell my students, okay, let's do exercise 3, page 65. I do it in a different way. They love it. They are very active. They find it funny. And what is most important here, there's a lot of language practice and language learning. Okay, so, you know, surprising people is like connected with getting our attention. Yes, we do it just to catch somebody's attention, but actually there are 2 types of attention. There is the this one is called transient attention. Yes, the moment when when we notice something. Yes, this is this split of a second or sometimes a bit longer. But for us as teachers, what is more important is sustained attention. Yeah, so this is the ability to stay focused on a task for a bit longer. So I want to show you now a few ideas about getting and keeping attention. Okay, mostly about keeping attention, but well, we will go through them one by one. So some of the tools, techniques, maybe I should say, are interrupting patterns, creating knowledge gaps, producing predictable unpredictability. It's my favorite one, and unfolding mystery. And the last one, what do you think? Any ideas? What would be the last one? Reward, no. But it's good. What is this session about? Surprise, of course, Veronica. Okay, thank you. Sorry. You have to forgive me, but there is something wrong with my throat today. Okay, so let's, surprising students, let's start with pattern interrupt. What is this pattern interrupt? Actually, it's something that I use and I used to use, but I didn't even know there is a term for this. Now I read a few books. No, it's not Corona. Definitely not Corona. No. I hope. Okay, so pattern interrupt, it's something I used to do in the past. I didn't even know there is a term for this. It's when we break, sorry, too fast. When we break somebody's pattern or behavior by interrupting them with the unexpected stimulus, okay? And once again, I have an idea for a reading lesson. Once again, we have a very long text to read, and you know that your students are going to complain. So what you can do, preparing a lesson, your lesson or lesson plan, you of course read the text because you have to know what you're going to work with on your lesson. So what I do is when I read the text, I simply note down a few like 3-4 reactions, like my reactions to the content of the text, like, oh my goodness, how cute, oh, I knew it, things like that. Okay, very short phrases. And before I start reading with my students, I show them the phrases and I tell them, guys, we're going to read a text now. I read it yesterday, and have a look, these are my reactions. So now I want you to focus, read the text, and guess which parts of the text triggered certain reactions. You won't believe me, but they are so involved in this reading activity that it's just kind of unbelievable. Yeah, but it happens. It's a simple trick. It's just show them that for you it was fascinating. And even better when I used something negative, like, oh, absolutely, I disagree, I totally disagree. That was brilliant, yeah, because, you know, they had to take into consideration the fact that I'm in a different age group and maybe my ideas were strange. So now, a task for you, I need a sip of water, a short piece of the text. What do you think? Do you remember? Was, oh my goodness, how cute, and I knew it. Can you guess which part triggered which reaction? I hope you can see the text. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. The tree falling. Mm-hmm. Buying a toy. How cute. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So you got the idea. So, oh my goodness was the tree falling. But actually, one of my students, we all have students like that, said that it was, I knew it about this tree. And I said, how should I have known it? Like, how is it even possible? He said, at your age, you have a lot of experience and you could have expected that. So it was quite funny, you know, but a lot of discussion and a nice discussion afterwards, like what were their reactions, how would they comment on the text. Was a really nice work. And for me, what was the most important part of this idea, that they really read the text and they analyzed different parts of the text. So a very simple trick you can use tomorrow. Okay, let's move on to next tool technique, knowledge gaps. Okay, what do you know what are knowledge gaps? I think you do. I think you know information gap. Carolina, you seem to be a millennial. My two sons are millennials, so oh. I'm kidding. I love millennials. You ask question like, do you know when? Sorry, questions, facts. Okay, everybody knows them. Information gap. Yes. Okay, Hannah, because I'm not sure what you're relating to. Information gap, when we have two people and somebody knows, like they have the pieces of information, they have to simply exchange the missing parts and fill in the missing parts together. And knowledge gap. So what is knowledge gaps? It's almost the same, but in this situation is not information, but it's the knowledge that this person already has. Okay, so basically the same. So when how do I use this knowledge gap? Is I know something and I need my students to find out about this. So when I start my lesson, sometimes I don't tell my students what are the goals or what is the topic or what the lesson is going to be about. I simply create 10 questions and I present the questions to my students. And I ask them, guys, can you answer them? Well, analyzing these questions, can you guess what's the topic of our today's lesson? I will give you 30 seconds now, if you can guess what's the topic of this lesson. Present simple question. Are they really present simple questions? Absolutely no idea. Yeah, that's one of the answers I would receive from my students, definitely. Transport, interesting. Monica wrote transport, WH questions. Art, okay. Book. Okay, so maybe I have to be more precise. I created these questions, and when you answer them, they all relate to this one thing that is going to be the topic of our lesson. So it's not WH questions, okay? Oh, now I see mobiles, food, statue, bike. Okay, you have a lot of ideas, you see, and none of them is is correct, sorry. But that's my point, you know, that's what happens in my classroom. You can imagine when I present the questions to my students, they bombard me with ideas like of the possible topic of the lesson. Actually, the topic is money. Yeah, have a look. Can we answer the questions? What color is it? Everybody knows. Why is it this color? Yeah, okay. Everybody knows, or maybe not. We have to, we can guess. So that's my point. You see, I create questions, I write questions, and my students try to guess it. And then it turns out it can be anything, because actually you could use this set of questions to ask about, I don't know, a glass, for example. Yeah. So of course, this is the beginning of the lesson when I want to get my students' attention, and it always works. Then we move on to the work, to analyzing the vocabulary, practicing, production, and so on and so on. And when I finish the lesson, I go back to my questions because, you know, I spend some time preparing them, so I don't want to waste it. And by the end of the lesson, we answer the questions once again, but this time I ask my students to try and use in the answers some of the phrases or idioms from the lesson. It's more challenging, but that's the point, yes? We have a vocabulary lesson for them to learn something new. So can you answer one of these questions using maybe one of the phrases? For example, where does it take me? Can you think of an answer? Where does it take me? Everywhere. Yeah, but I want you to use some of the one of the phrases on the right. Yes, like careful with money, short of money, take out a loan, spend money like water, $1 to $1 shop. Yeah, but we don't have $1 or to $1 shop here. What happens if I don't have any? 9 short of money. Yeah, but where is the sentence, baby? If you are my student, you have to answer in full sentences. That's what my students hate. Yeah, when I do that. Full sentence, please. You have answered, Mariana. Sorry, I didn't notice, Mariana. It takes you in the red. Oh, thank you. You're my favorite student, Mariana. Thank you very much. Okay. So I hope you see my point. Yes, I use the questions at the beginning to attract their attention and to catch their attention. But then again, I go back to these questions by the end of the lesson and use them again. Okay. So now let's move on. Let's move on to this predictable unpredictability. Yeah. Does anybody here work with kids in maybe kindergarten, like 3, 4, 5-year-olds? Okay, yes. So tell me what happens, or what would happen if you brought, I don't know, a box into the classroom and put it on the desk without any words. What would happen? What would happen? Sorry. They will stare at it. Yes. Everybody is looking at it. Exactly. Yes. Children are curious. Yes. They will keep fidgeting. They will keep asking questions. Yes. They will do everything to see what's inside. Yeah. What's inside? Exactly. So this is the idea of predictable unpredictability. When we know that something will happen, but we don't know what will happen. Well, we can't control ourselves. Yes, we are so curious. We simply want to know now, right away. And we are really focused. Yes, and our whole attention is on this thing. So what I do sometimes, I show my students a piece of paper. And I tell them, guys, on the other side, there is something, there is a surprise for you, okay? But I will show you what's on the other side as soon as you catch the phrase end up with. It will be during our lesson. You have to be careful. You have to, be focused. And once you catch end up with, just shout, yeah, I got it. And then I will show you what's on the other side. You have to remember that if you do something like that, do not choose a phrase from the course book, because the first thing they will do, they will open the course book and simply, look for the phrase. It will be like 1 minute, maybe even less, and they will get it. So I choose something from the listening mostly. Yeah. Like I know I have the transcript, so I can easily find a phrase that I can choose for them. And once we're doing the listening, of course, when somebody catches the phrase, they have to shout, got it. Sometimes they forget about it. And I have to remind them, oh, guys, didn't you miss something? There was a phrase here. But once they catch the phrase, of course, I do what I promised. I show them what's on the other side. It can be, I don't know, a game, for example. Yeah, congrats, you deserved a game. You were very careful. You listened carefully. You caught the phrase. So why not? Of course, everybody likes to have some fun from time to time. So, of course, surprise, surprise. I sometimes use games just like that without any conditions. And if you work with high note, in your teacher's book, I don't have them. I have them right there. Okay, but you can see it on the slide. There is this teacher's resource file with many different tasks and activities. Some are for communication, some are for practicing grammar, and some are the vocabulary, like here, but they are very often in forms of games. So I don't spend time creating my own games if I have something like that at hand. And here we have a taboo game. I think you know the rules. The students just pick the word and they have to explain or describe the word which is in bold, but they are not allowed to use the words which are below. It's a very simple activity, but for language students, it's not that simple. Yeah, it is a challenge because the words which are in bullets are of course usually the obvious words. Yeah, the words that are the first ones that come to their minds. But what I like to do sometimes, you know that I like surprising my students. I add something extra and I prepare a set of pictures. This set is actually, these are pictures from a game, Gra na emocjach. It's a Polish one, but you can use whatever you want. Yes, you can use any, I don't know, photos. You can use icons from the internet. You can use any games. I'm sure you have games like that. Maybe you know Dixit. They are the unbelievably creative cards with images. So whatever you want, but cards with pictures. And when my student picks a card with the word and gives the definition, the explanation, I also pick a card with the picture and ask him or her to incorporate somehow the picture into the definition. Okay? So I would like now to to check your creativity. Have a look. Suitcase. Can you define the word suitcase? You are not allowed to use words clothes, pack, and travel, but I want you to use the picture of hamburger. Can you do it? Something went wrong with the connection. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. It is a big, okay. Mariana. Oh, my favorite student is writing. Yeah. It is a big thing into which you can put a hamburger and you carry it on your trips. Fantastic. I think you put your things in when you go on holiday. And where is my hamburger? Yeah. The definition is okay, but I want you to use the word hamburger as well. You can sit on it while eating a hamburger. Thank you. Okay. Taste the hamburger, you need a special piece of luggage. Oh my goodness, you're really creative. You put stuff inside when you go somewhere, but don't put inside a hamburger. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Okay, so as you can see, it is possible, it's doable, as I say. It is a challenge, but a doable challenge. And my students love it because it's not just another kind of, maybe not boring game, but the game which they already know. Just by adding the pictures, the icons, I add something new, something surprising, and they simply love it. Okay, so now, unfolding mystery. It's my my last idea I want to share with you. It's the situation in which, you know, unfolding mystery, you keep discovering something or you discover something at the end. I'm not sure if you are fans of Broadchurch. Do you watch Netflix? I hope you do, and I think you do, because a lot of English teachers are Netflix fans. No, really? Sure. Okay. So, yeah, even with my students. Well, generally, I don't have a lot of free time to do that. But from time to time, you know, I love watching some good series on Netflix. And one of my favorites is Broadchurch. I loved it because in every episode, the authors were adding elements to the discovery of the mystery. Yes, like every episode was for me kept changing my ideas about who is the potential murderer and so on. I love this, and this is something that I do with my students. I want them to analyze and to think about different situations. So I have this system of a secret agent. I'm not sure if you if you ever heard about anything like that. What I do, I choose a student from my group, and before the lesson, I contact with this student by messenger, or I just catch the person before the lesson in the corridor, and I ask the person to be my secret agent during the lesson. And the idea is that this person has a secret individual goal. For example, I ask the person to ask a lot of questions. Yes, like, okay, Joanna, will you be my secret agent today? I want you, what should I do, teacher? Okay, so I want you to simply ask a lot of questions. And it can be anything. Yes, just don't worry. Simply ask a lot of questions. It can be something different, like elaborating on what other students say, or paraphrasing what other students say, or I don't know, borrowing pencils. It was actually one of the funniest ideas I had, and my students really loved it. And then, of course, during the lesson, the person who is my secret agent is supposed to fulfill the task. By the end of the lesson, I tell my students, and I tell them, guys, I have this special paper. I tell them, guys, we had a secret agent today on our lesson. Yeah, you know, surprise, like, oh my goodness, yes, where we recorded, or what happened? I tell them, no, one of you had a secret task, a secret individual goal, and I want you to guess who that person was. Of course, they analyze the lesson. And if they are unable to guess, of course, I tell them, and I tell them the idea. It's a lot of fun, and they really like it. But magic happens on our next lesson. Do you know why? Because my students are incredibly suspicious. Yes, whenever somebody asks a question or does something unusual, everybody is looking at them and like, oh my goodness, you're the secret agent today. So a very simple idea, and your students are really kind of engaged into the lesson. Yeah. Once I even conducted an experiment, and when I worked with my group of 8 students, I asked each of them to be my secret agent. Yeah, each of them had to ask a lot of questions and paraphrase what other students were saying. And, you know, it was the best lesson in my life. Absolutely. Yeah, they were so active. And when I told them at the end of the lesson that they were all secret agents today, we couldn't stop laughing. So it was a really nice thing. So please try it. It is really I don't know, simple, but actually, if you're interested in having your students engaged and being active during the lesson, it will definitely work. Okay, guys, the end is coming, but just give me one more second. Another book I want to recommend to you is the book Surprise by Tanya Luna and Lee-Ann Reniger. It's not a book for English teachers, it's just a book about surprise. So if you want to become a better teacher, you don't have to read it. But I think it's a good one because, you know, you can show off just that you know something other people don't know. That's what I do today. Yes, I know something about surprise because I read this book. But that's simply what I do. Okay, and now a quote for you. Do you know? What's the quote? I guess you know this one. A journey begins. Anybody? Yes. A journey always begins. A journey. But this is not the full one. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Yeah. Okay. Yes, but no, because I have a different version for you. A journey to sustained attention begins with those few seconds in which you capture your students' transient attention. Okay, so this is the end. Definitely, seriously, thank you very much for your attention and for being so active. You were absolutely brilliant and fantastic, and it was just the best moment of this week for me. So thank you very much. If you have any questions or want to exchange ideas, you can drop me a line. Here's my mail. You can find me on Facebook as well. Thank you very much. Oh, Jindra, thank you. Jindra, I don't know how to say it, sorry. Thank you. I'm very happy you liked it, and I hope you found my ideas useful and will test them tomorrow and surprise your students with some of the ideas. I don't know if you can watch the seminar again. You have to contact the organizers. Sorry. I think one of the, maybe there is somebody here and could answer in the chat. Sorry, I can't tell you. Okay, I'm very happy you found the ideas useful. It was a great evening. Thank you, guys. Yes, easy and quick to bring to lesson. That's what I do, and that is why I love Penny Earl and her ideas. Okay, Ventures book. Hannah, you will find it on our webpage tomorrow. I guess the recording, yes? Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.